So just a brief overview of this morning's session. So just some general housekeeping. We're going to look at the PBS in the portal launch, move through the help and feedback, have a look at the roadmap, do some Q&A, and then look at how you can provide feedback and future updates. So online today is John Barry, our product manager, Stephen Ryan, who is our business analyst, and myself as senior digital engagement. Just a reminder that we are recording this meeting. We'll make that recording available online after this. We will do a Q&A at the end, but please feel free to raise your virtual hand or you're welcome to pop up in the chat window. And if you could just ensure that you all stay on mute for the duration of the call.
Right, thanks, Carly. Welcome again, everyone. We are only a day away now from launching the Tranche 1 MVP for PBS in the portal. I guess a great deal of thanks goes out to a number of PBS assessors, certifiers who've been involved in both the design process, but quite actively involved, and appreciate your time in the beta testing that we kicked off in December and flowed all the way through till last week. That has really helped shape and make the PBS module that we're releasing tomorrow what it is, as importantly the API developer platform. So again, thanks so much. In terms of what we're looking to do for tomorrow, we will be confirming a cutover, and that target is 4 p.m. tomorrow. From that point, the production PBS portal will be available, as well as the API developer portal, which will allow you to obtain the subscription key that you'll need if you'd like to use the new PBS submission tool, Spreadsheet, which also includes design approval application submission as well now. As of the 1st of February, so from essentially the start of business, email submission channel will be turned off. And from that point, we'll be looking for all applications to be submitted either using the PBS portal module or through the Spreadsheet submission tool. And we'll get into a bit of the preparations management for that later. Today, by close of business, you will receive an email. Those PBS assessors and certifiers, we will be sending out an email that will cover off the production URLs, so how you can get in. For those that don't currently have a account on the portal for access accreditation of vehicle standards, we will be creating a production email account for you, and we'll be sending out your that email and the password as well for or the temporary password that we've generated for your account. And those that already have a user profile and account, we will still send you out an email, but we'll just note that the password will be the same password you currently use in the portal for access accreditation of vehicle standards. There'll also be some other information in that email. In particular, we will provide a direct link to the new submission spreadsheet tool. Now, again, both the production portal and that spreadsheet submission tool won't be active or won't be able to submit anything through there until we release the production systems tomorrow at 4 p.m. Obviously, with the spreadsheet tool, for those that have been involved in the process, you need a subscription key, and that will only be available from the production API portal from 4. For the portal itself, the production portal will be disabled until 4 p.m. So that URL won't actually get you anywhere until we switch it on. We will send out that spreadsheet earlier, just so that for those that did want to start preparing any any particular vehicle approval applications that you may have in templates already in the existing spreadsheets. It'll be an opportunity to start copying that information across into the new submission tool template, and then once we can, you can grab your key, the subscription key tomorrow, then we'll be able to submit those immediately from 4 p.m. And submissions will be available 24/7 through the portal and from that submission tool from 4 p.m. tomorrow. All right, so yourself and Steve are going to provide some demonstrations of both the portal module and the spreadsheet. Steve, did you want to go through the portal module demos first?
Yeah, yep, not a problem. Thanks, John. Thanks everyone for joining. As John's already said, I'll just reiterate what you'll see in here now has been based on all the feedback that we've got through all those sessions. So thanks again for everyone that's been involved. It's been very valuable to be able to get us up to the point we're up to. So I've got some applications that I've prepared in here in terms of like to go through with the demo. I'll just go through them at a very high level. It's not going to be every scenario that you may be able to apply for, but it'll just give you a bit of a view of what it's developed to now from like anybody that's been involved in the process along the way. So essentially this is the new portal platform. As John's already covered, you'll get email today to give you your login details. It'll let you know what the URL is, how to get to this site. So basically, once you get to there and you log in, the majority of people, I know we do have some people online that are joining us from some of the road manager or sort of regulatory organisations, but a lot of people are assessors or certifiers. So the accounts you'll be set up, you'll be coming in as a provider. So that's the banner along the top that lets you know that you're in that account. There'll be just the single tile here for performance-based standards. I guess one of the key features that a lot of people have given us feedback through the demos and the testing that we've done is around being able to see statuses. Yep, sorry, good point. I just got reminded I hadn't shared my screen. Okay, so hopefully that's showing up now. Yeah, awesome. Thank you. Apologies for that. So I'll just go back the one step where I was to begin with. Yeah. So in the portal, as I say, once you get your login details and the portal's up and live, you'll log in. For the majority of people that are joining us on here, come in as a provider. You'll see the banner at the top that lets you know that you're in the portal as under a provider account type. Which is where you need to come in to be able to submit your PBS design applications, design approval applications and vehicle approval. So you see the single tile there. Some of the feedback that we've had through the sort of the sessions that we've done in the testing was around like status is going to be a valuable piece of information that at the moment you may need to contact NHVR. So once we go live, there will be basic status information in here. As you can see on screen, you'll see that you've got applications in draft. You'll see ones that you've got submitted. Once the PBS team pick them up and begin to assess them, there will be some basic status information that will display in here around that they're under assessment and a handful of other types of statuses. So hopefully that'll be of value to everyone that's got applications that are currently in progress, that you're able to come in here and sort of get a high level view at least of what the status is. So the ones that I've set up in here, well, as you see at the top two, there's also the buttons here to whether you're doing vehicle approval or design approval. So the ones that I've prepped up for this demonstration. So you'll be able to jump in here. As you can see, I've got all the steps filled out just so you don't have to watch me type while we're doing this. But basically, all of these screens have been reviewed multiple times with both the external stakeholder groups plus the internal PBS teams to sort of work through all the various feedback that we've received. We've tried to capture everything and make sure that we've included that where applicable. So yeah, basically it's got the wizard steps. There's a lot of validations are built into the to each of the screens, so around fields that are mandatory or optional and around certain formats that something might need to be in any particular field. So hopefully it's a relatively straightforward process that you'll get feedback from the interface itself when you move to a step. You'll see if you've missed anything. So for example, like in here, if I take that body type out and move on, it'll tell you there's something missing on that step. You can come back in there and then be able to select it. So that'll hopefully guide you through that process. Takes in all the application types that you can do for design approvals and vehicle approvals. and that will get you through the whole process. There's some validations built into the attachments to make sure that you only, like the mandatory ones are highlighted. You can move attachments around between these panels. There will be support materials that will be available and will be getting built out as we start fielding questions. If there's questions that come in around certain functions of the portal that we get on a regular basis, that help will be available through the intercom button. I might be jumping ahead because potentially we'll be covering this when we get towards the end, but that's just to give a little bit of a preview. You can jump in there, search for any sort of knowledge base articles, or you can get directly in contact with sort of support within NHVR. So that'll hopefully will be help you along the process as well, where the feedback that you're getting from the interface doesn't quite answer the questions that you might have. So in that regard, when you get to the review, you can see everything that you've entered. You can go back and make any edits that you want before you submit. Then there's the submission button. You get an opportunity to confirm. That's essentially like your declaration to say everything that's in there is true and correct. And then once you submit, depending on the application types, some will come back with an immediate number. Others need to have some assessment done by the PBS team before it comes back. But that'll let you know that you've got your submissions in there. And now if I go back to that front screen, you'll be able to see that one in there that I've just submitted. So it's got a submitted date. You see the status has moved from draft to submitted. So that's obviously glossing over. There's a lot of detail and other sort of specifics in amongst that application process, but very similar sort of approach and steps apply for the vehicle approvals as well. And we'll cover further in this discussion around the support, but yeah, we'll have people here online ready to help you from first thing Monday morning to go through the process, run into any questions. You'll be able to come through and we will get back to you as quickly as we can and provide you the support to hopefully we'll make it a good experience of moving over to this new submission channel. So that's basically everything I guess I need to show at a high level for the application process within the UI. I believe that John's going to give a short overview about the submission spreadsheet tool and the API part of the process. So I'll hand back over to John if there's no questions. Excellent. All right. Well, thanks for that. I'll hand back over to John. Thank you.
Thanks, Steve. Okay, so that's the first channel available. The second channel is the spreadsheet tool, but it does come through this new NHVR API developer platform. So I'll show you the landing page for the developer platform, and then I'll walk you through the tool itself. Okay, so I'll just share my screen. So this is our new developer portal, and it will be really closed to PBS assessors and certifiers in the first instance. We are doing some work with some road managers on leveraging this platform into the future when we add in other data sets, in particular access related data sets. For our launch tomorrow, it will be very much specific to PBS, and the PBS services available in Tranche 1. It'll effectively allow for submissions to be made, design approvals or vehicle approvals, in a very similar way to how the PBS portal itself will for Tranche 1. It is connected up to the login details that you have for the portal that you'll be receiving this afternoon. Like I said, there will be a production URL for the developer portal. It will be api-portal.nhvr.gov.au. Once that will only be really enabled from 4 p.m. tomorrow. Once that is enabled, you will be able to log in. If, like me, you're already logged into the portal, it will automatically log you into the developer portal. If not, it'll ask for your email and password for the portal and log you in. Once you're logged in, you'll be able to download what we're referring to as our featured API product, which is the new PBS application submission tool Excel spreadsheet. This spreadsheet we've made a few changes to based on feedback, particularly from the last 2 weeks. beginning of this year. And I'll show you that now. Before I do that, to use any of our APIs, you do need to subscribe to the API product itself. For the PBS application submission tool, we will have a number of articles specifically about how to do that, but we will be looking to talk directly with all of those that are interested, and we've talked to a number of you already. But when you're looking to set that up, we'll go through the support model a bit more in detail later, but essentially we'd like you to give us a call, and we can help you step through that process. Likewise, if you do feel comfortable based on the testing that you have done, you'll be able to set this up yourself as well. And that is relatively straightforward. Once you've signed in, you can go to the products and effectively create a subscription to the NHVR Portal API product. Now, the subscription name is really specific to you. There is a number of considerations that have popped up about should I create a subscription key for each of my assessors and certifiers or users? Should I create a subscription key that's linked to more of a generic account? And that's why we want you to have a chat with us. In many instances, we're going to recommend that you do set up a more organizational account type profile, and subscribe to that, and that way you'll get a key that will you can use across different assessors and certifiers or other users. One of the considerations for that particular account is that it is set with the lowest level of permissions possible, and so those are some of the considerations we can help walk you through. But otherwise, you can log in with your own login. You can create a subscription key, and I will create one now. And what that will give you is a key under subscriptions here, and that's the key you need to use the featured API product or spreadsheet, or the key that you'd use for any system work that you do using the API. So I'll jump into the spreadsheet itself. So this is the obviously this is still UAT. The first tab or sheet there in the spreadsheet is the setup, and that's where the subscription key is required. That should be a one-off exercise. Once you've grabbed that key, pop it in the subscription key there, save it, and it will create a text file with that key in it. That's there just to ensure that if you do share a copy, email this spreadsheet around, you're not compromising the key that you have. But you can copy both the key and the spreadsheet. As long as the key sets next to it, you'll be able to use it, and you can copy that into any other folders you like. So that's the one-off setup exercise. Once that's done, as soon as you successfully save that API key, it will go and populate a bunch of lists from the portal, any of your certifiers and or assessors that you have, and then there'll be a list of combination types, volume units, toad units, and so on, that are used to feed some of the lists in the actual application sheets themselves. We have, as per the current vehicle approval template, we've copied in and provided some of the help sheets that current tool provides, and we've also provided some of the general instructions about how to use those in macro-enabled type worksheets, as this one is. The actual applications themselves are relatively straightforward and do in many ways mirror the design for the current vehicle approval template. Obviously, we've extended this so that it can be used for design approvals. The lists, as you was mentioning before, will grab through and allow you a population of, in this case, the assessor name, The applicant details hasn't changed too much for those that have been involved in the testing. There has been some changes to either tighten or relax some of the required rules. For design approvals in particular, contact person addresses are now required set of fields. But there has been some corrections of what is required attachments. So we were requiring all sorts of attachments for design approvals. That's no longer the case. Again, the spreadsheet itself, for those familiar with the current vehicle approval template, this doesn't create an email. It essentially communicates directly with the portal using that key, and that includes the upload of the attachments. So there's a bit of a process. It's covered off in some of the template info. Creating the folders here will generate folders next to the spreadsheet. Depending on whether you're doing design approval or vehicle approval, those folders will differ. But essentially, you'll simply drop the relevant files into each of these folders. That is a bit different from the current process where the files are sort of listed in one folder. The rationale for splitting out this way is it helps us confirm that while we don't look into the content of the folders, that we can at least provide some guidance on what the required file types are. And when it comes through to the PBS team, those files will be categorized as well. And that will help them with their assessment. With 40, 50, even more files, although I know we've got a file naming convention, sometimes those files have different sort of names, and it can be quite difficult for the PBS team to find the relevant ones. This will help structure that in a way that will make that a lot easier. And of course, all of the information from this form and from the portal automatically populates the PBS team's register, which at this stage is a manual process. So that whole application submission process is greatly improved and effectively automated up to the point at which the PBS team receive it and then start assessing it. The vehicle approval, very much the same. I think some of the changes that we made for those that have seen it previously, we've added in the links to the various info sheets. The language around what was adding identical vehicles being made more specific, relating directly back to both the help sheet there, and there's also a help article that's linked here to the website, to the NHVR website, which provides more information. And down the bottom, we've cleaned up the previous vehicle approval number and prefixes for if you've got another type of vehicle approval application where you're changing, removing, adding, or even modifying. Okay, finally, there's the spreadsheet will return errors if there's anything missing. I guess probably the key one to note, particularly for design approvals, is there are rules around the combination types, hauling units, towed units, body types, and load types. And that's really there just to ensure that some mistakes are captured. Those lists will come through, and in the portal you'll see that they'll automatically filter. In the spreadsheet they won't automatically filter, but as long as they're valid, sort of, or match up in terms of particularly the hauling unit and towed unit to a configuration type powertrain, the submission should go through clearly, but this will capture anything that is errored. So when you submit that, the portal itself will check that the information here is valid, and if there is any issues, we'll report them here. So the experience will be slightly more guided, and I guess any issues would be more easily addressed if you're using the portal, so the experience is a bit more improved. With the spreadsheet, there is obviously some constraints on what we can do, but we also expect, I guess, a bit more less help and support in terms of the actual content here. But we're hoping this report should provide enough information to quickly identify what might be incorrectly typed or selected. That's basically our spreadsheet tools. Is there any questions on the spreadsheet tool or on the actual developer portal itself?
John, if there's any error in the spreadsheet at the back, can they still submit it? It says submit applications.
Yep.
If there is error, will it still go and then we'll fix it up later, or it's just hanging in there?
Yeah, so what it does is when you go to submit, it creates a draft application first and then uploads the attachments and then submits the information in the form. If there is any errors, it will remain in draft and will not be submitted. So everything, all of the application needs to meet all of the required validation rules for it to be able to be successfully submitted. Until then, it will stay in a draft format.
Okay. And then if they're not sure how to fix it, they just have to ask questions and then fix it at the same time like that, okay?
Yeah, so the report here will provide by field. As an example, it might say PBS access level for mass is under 4.5 tonne, which is the minimum. So the messages here should be scripted enough to quickly correct any issues. But obviously, as we start to see some real use cases of that, we'll look to improve that messaging if we need to. But yes, there should be enough information there to correct anything that's an error.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions on the spreadsheet or the developer portal? All right. Cool. We'll move into the next agenda item, which is around the help and support model for our go live. So we will be providing a quite intensive level of support from when we go live. From 9 AM Monday morning, our team will be on board. Like I said, the availability will be there from 4 PM tomorrow. You'll be able to complete the subscription process if you want to use the spreadsheet. You'll be able to log into the portal if you want to use the portal. And you'll be able to submit applications all the way through 24/7 from 4 PM through over the weekend. Where you do need direct support, we will be available from Monday morning, 9 AM, and there will be a phone number that we will be providing, as well as you've got the digital at nhvr.gov.au box. Our formal support channels do kick in as well, so the call centre, any calls received from there, they'll be redirecting you to our hypercare team for a second level, and for the API developer portal, we'll be redirecting those calls directly to the DPG team. So again, that level of support will be available to help all things to do with the initial setup, particularly with the spreadsheet. Any issues that occur with logins, if there's requirements to change, reset passwords, or add new users onto your account, or anything like that, that's what we'll be here to provide you. We will be looking to provide more self-service features to allow you to manage the users on your account and change their permissions, but they will be coming in the weeks to come. and until that point, the support model we've got in place is there to help you. As that's a call center, we'll redirect you to our hybrid K team where they'll provide basic support on the portal itself, and any issues that come down to the logins, account management will come through to our team, which will be Steve, who provided some of the demo, Kylie, myself, and also Yang, our senior test lead. So we're quite keen to provide as much help as and support as possible to ensure a successful transition. Obviously, this represents the foundation for the new PBS module. We also understand that because we are looking to close off that email channel as of Monday, that we will be providing that additional level of support, and that includes direct either talking to us on the phone or even Teams conferences where we can share screens and help you walk through any particular issues that you might be having. Of course, all of that information that we're capturing we'll be adding as FAQs into the help center and knowledge base articles, so that will become a library that you'll be able to fall back on, particularly for those users that are entering through the portal and accessing that help icon down the bottom. And there it is. All right. So any questions or concerns or about the support and the cutover? Okay. Right. I'll move into the next steps. So our next step really is focusing on that the full application smart form process to effectively move us away from the word-based document approach to submission, which makes up the majority of the application. That's what the smart forms refers to. So that will include within the portal a vehicle builder to allow vehicle configurations and variants to be built up. And all of the other required information that forms the design approval application. We'll also be doing the same when it comes to vehicle approval applications, and in a much more smarter way, linking information that's available from the original design approval application or variation and amendment into those vehicle approval applications as well. So that won't be simply limited to the portal module. It will include updates to that featured product, our Spreadsheet Tool there, where we'll be providing the ability to capture that high level of detail in the spreadsheet format. We've already done a bit of work on that. There is obviously a number of different, quite distinct types of configuration types when you're looking at B doubles, A doubles, truck and dog, and so that spreadsheet tool will be come in a number of flavors, if you like, but we're very keen to leverage the design and testing skills of those that have been involved with us for tranche 1 into tranche 2 to help us shape that and get that right too. As well as the actual smart form application process itself. So I guess while we're looking to successfully transition to tranche 1 over the next couple of business days, we will be eagerly looking ahead to kicking off the design and engagement work with all of those of you that are willing and able to help us out, to help us get it right for tranche 2. And that tranche 2 is earmarked for April, so mid-April release. And so there's, we'll be kicking off in earnest. February, we'll be looking to really finalise the design work, and that is an important part. And we're very keen to work with any of you at that stage, so we can bake in, from a design perspective, some of the key features or issues or considerations we need to take into account before we start building out that smart form and the actual spreadsheet tools themselves. We'll continue doing work on the Open Data Exchange, so that's the NHVR portal, developer portal platform, particularly to extend out to access related PBS permit information, as well as general access information as well. So the developer portal platform as a foundation, we're looking to expand and make services and data accessible across the access accreditation and vehicle standards as well. Our major focus will be other than PBS on access and making that information available, particularly case and consent information, including links to the vehicle configuration information from VAs that currently I know is a bugbear, particularly for road managers with the consent process, having to pull that through from design approval, so vehicle approval documents or design approval documents in PDF. We're looking to make that information much more readily accessible, both through the API, but also in the access portal as well. So that's our key major focuses for the next 3 months. That I guess wraps up our stakeholder update for today. Is there any questions out of all of that?
There was one question that, or a couple of questions that come through on the chat that Daniel had sent through, and I've responded to one. So Daniel is asking if there'll be an option available for the combinations or the vehicle selections. So I said on the initial stage, like we're working on that. We're going to look at launching that in the next 1 or 2 weeks. So that will allow for vehicles that aren't defined in the drop-down list to be able to be sort of entered into the application. We've had feedback from our internal PBS team to say ones that aren't already in that defined list, they're expecting to be like pretty infrequent. So we think having that launched in the next 1 or 2 weeks isn't going to create an issue. And then the other question that you asked, Daniel, was about, are there ways to remove double entry with Part A form details being entered twice? So just to clarify, I'm assuming what you're meaning is that in the Part A form, there's some of that information around PBS access levels around bridges and levels and all that sort of thing that you need to fill in into that form, that you will also now be filling into the some of the screens in the portal or into that submission tool. So if that's, hopefully that's the covering the question that you're answering. So, I'll assume that it is. So the answer to that, I think, is covered a little bit in what John was going through around. It is a couple of months down the track, but when we move to those smart forms, we will be looking to retire the current Word documents. But in the meantime, there is like a little bit of overlap between some of the fields that you'll fill in within the application processes for both, or more maybe for DA than VA, but like across both of those application processes between the forms that you download from the website and will be attached as attachments, and some of the fields that are filled in that process. But we are rapidly working towards getting to a point where we can retire those the forms that are required for the submissions at the moment. So hopefully that helps shed some light on that. Yep, excellent.
Thanks, Steve.
No worries.
Okay. Well, again, just as we started, we'll finish. A great big thank you to everyone that's been involved today. We have gone through quite a fairly lengthy process to try and get to this stage. We are going to be accelerating from now. So as much as I'll thank you for the feedback you've provided today, I really extend that hand out to request help in the next 3 months. We're really looking forward to leveraging the foundations that have been put in place now to start progressing and achieving some of the more real benefits that that the digitalisation PBS can provide. So your involvement in that is critical. So look, again, thanks so much. We've got the email that will be coming out this afternoon, which will give you those details. We'll be covering off not just the login information, but the contact information you can see on screen there. And tomorrow afternoon you'll receive a confirmation email, which should be just after 4, to let you know that we're now live and raring to go. Our next session, so we'll be continuing these stakeholder update sessions. Again, it'll be even more important now that we're looking to accelerate into tranche 2, Thursday 25th of February, same time, online. I just got a message. That's the number, yes. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Carly, thanks, Steve. Thank you, everyone. Hope you have a really good day. Yeah, we look forward to talking to some of you on Monday.